There is a young lady in our church who I have known for quite a few years. And it's been such a pleasure and a delight just to see her grow up into this amazing woman of God. And I watch her from afar, and I really just give God thanks for what he's doing in her life. So she has got a YouTube channel where she discusses issues that are very pertinent to our young, actually all women today, not really just young women, but all women today. And so I have invited her to just come and bring a couple of her friends, and they're going to have a chat on the sofa, and we're going to eavesdrop. I know we all like to kind of listen in. Well, you get to do it legitimately today. You can eavesdrop on their conversation. So please help me welcome Dupe from Fearlessly Faithful. Woo! That's your fan base there.
Thank you guys so much. How are you guys enjoying Courage? Yeah, it's absolutely wonderful. I'm loving every single second of it. Like Pastor Kemi said, my name is Dupe, and I have a YouTube channel called Fearlessly Faithful. And Fearlessly Faithful, really, it was born out of Courage, the first Courage 2017, where, you know, I heard all of these, it was an incredible time. I heard all of these powerful, God-filled women speaking, and God gave me a word at the end of it. And he said, do you know what, Dupe, I've given you a voice, and I'm one of the youth leaders, so I love the kids. And I was like, the things that they're watching on YouTube, some of it is good, but a lot of the advice that they're receiving, it's not coming from a place, it's not coming from God. It's just coming from the world. And I said, you know what, I want to be a part of changing that. So I decided to launch this channel. And initially it was just me talking about the things that God had put on my heart. And then earlier this year, I really felt as though God was saying, do you know what, I've given you a voice, but I've given so many other Christians a voice, and I want you to help them share that. I've given you this platform, and I don't want it to just be your voice that's being heard, because I feel like what the enemy is wanting to do is the enemy is wanting to silence the voice of the Christians in this nation and across the world. And I just feel as though we can change that. People are trying to paint the rhetoric and the image of what Christianity looks like and what the average Christian looks like. But we know here that what's being portrayed in the media and what's being portrayed on TV isn't the reality. So I decided, you know what, I want to bring people on, and I want to talk about real life issues and see what's the Christian perspective about that. So that was the whole point of Fearlessly Faithful. So today, thank you. So today I'm going to introduce a few of my friends. We're going to come, we're going to chat and talk about life. They are really, really nervous. So if you could please give a massive, massive round of applause for Tamsin, Tenny and Tracy. How are you girls doing?
Fantastic.
Yeah? How are you guys finding Courage 2019?
Great. It's fun. It's amazing. It's amazing.
Yeah.
Incredible.
Tenny, what's been your highlight so far?
My highlight was definitely Good Grace. That's like my favourite song at the moment. So that was just like, I want to just lie on the floor.
Yeah, the worship band are doing an incredible job. Can we give a massive round of applause for the worship band? It's just incredible. Tamsin, what would you say that has been your highlight?
I think yesterday, hearing Pastor Kemi talk, just truth bombs everywhere. It was great.
Yeah, it was incredible. And what about yourself, Tracy?
Just being here with different women all together, just worshiping God.
Yeah, it's an incredible time. It's an absolutely incredible time. I think for me, this Courage has been really different to the other Courages, and I can't quite put my finger on why, but I think seeing the panelists come and speak, all the speakers talking, and I just looked at 5 strong women who love the Lord, and I was like, oh look, inspiring the next generation. I want to be like her, so I found it absolutely incredible. So as we know, the topic of this Courage is freedom, courage to be free. Tracy, what would you say freedom looks like for you?
Freedom for me is to live without any restrictions, anything just in my way. That's freedom to me.
Hallelujah. I hear that. Tamsin, what about yourself? What does freedom look like to you?
I think for me it's just being my own person. I'm not bound to the thoughts or opinions of other people. I'm confident in who I am.
Amen. Yeah. Amen. Tenny, what about yourself?
I'm not going to lie to you. To me, freedom is sleeping without an alarm. Just sleeping peacefully, waking up when I'm ready.
That is real, because I can't tell you the last time I did that. I think for me, freedom, I'd say the best time that epitomized it would be You know, when you were younger, 6-week holiday, you know, primary school, go out, play outside, no cares in the world, just riding your bike, if you can ride a bike, riding your bike, and then you just come home and you've made 5 new friends, and you don't even know, I don't even know how I collected all these friends, but I've got these friends all of a sudden. And I know that friendship can be a hard thing, and for you, Tamsin, you've gone away. You're currently at Brighton studying illustration. Yeah. How would you say that the process of leaving home, going to a whole new city and making new friends, what would you say that's been like?
I think I'm someone, luckily, who really loves new experiences, so I was quite looking forward to it. Luckily, with social media and everything, it's quite easy to stay in contact with your friends. But I would say it was definitely more of a transition than I thought. And looking at the 2 years I've been at uni, they've both been quite different when it comes to friendship. And I think I've just been trying to work out what's the right balance. And I think it's not really a blanket thing I can say as to how I've worked that out. It's just something I still try to do through asking for wisdom and discernment from the Lord. So yeah, first year was quite intense. I was in some quite intense friendships that I didn't really know if that was right or not, but you know, it was all Christian, it was great, but we were kind of living in each other's pockets and just spending an awful lot of time together, and something in me was like, I don't know if this is right, but I feel like I owe them my friendship, and how do I go about this? Those friendships actually kind of took care of themselves and kind of fell away, so that kind of left me in a bit of a place of like, oh, what's the point of friendships? Like, it's actually long. But like, yeah, and then I kind of had a bit of a different year this year of kind of isolating myself a little bit from people. Not hugely, because I'm quite an extrovert, but definitely my close friends could tell that I was a bit different. So yeah, but luckily God's like really given me a really great friend at uni, Hannah, who's great. And like, we're in a really good friendship that's it's not dependent, but it's so supportive, and it's so like every day pray for each other, and I just think that's great. So I'm really feeling good.
Amen. We thank God for good friends, and that's why I love you guys so much. How would you say that you dealt with those people that you're kind of like, I don't know if God has really put these people in my life? What would you say? How would you say you dealt with that?
Oh, it's difficult. One of my friends actually was like, oh, God said you're going to be my friend. So I was like, well, I guess you're right. I was like, okay. But I was like, God, I don't know if this person's going to hurt me or not. And I really just felt him say, like, you know what, whether they leave or they don't leave, like, just love them. But I guess the advice I give is, like, you don't really owe people anything other than to love them.
It's true.
So, yeah.
And how would you say that your relationship with God has helped you through the whole process of being at uni?
Just everything. Without God, nothing. Basically, I think having your worth come from God, like, He's never changing. He's your best friend. He's always there. You know, even when friendships break down, you know that your friendship with Jesus is never going to break down. So that's the thing that you cling to. You can't actually be that badly hurt. You know what I mean? Like, you've been accepted by God. You can't really be rejected by man.
Amen.
Little truth bomb, yeah?
Amen. I love that. I absolutely love that. And making friends, we all go through experiences where we have to meet new people. I know that for me, making friends is a struggle. Everyone thinks I'm such an extrovert, but really I'm an introvert. But Tenny, I know that you're quite an extrovert.
I am, yes.
And you've been in the process of making new friends as you've recently started a job at school. Congratulations.
Thank you.
How's that process going?
It's going really well. I love the school. I love everything about it. It's only been like 3 weeks, but I think I'm definitely excited for this whole season of life.
That's incredible.
Yeah.
And obviously you work in a school, so you work around kids, and you do youth as well.
Yeah.
And what we've noticed is that the issue of mental health has been something that has been really rife, especially amongst young people. It's something that I think we dealt with when we were younger, but speaking to a lot of the younger guys now, is something that they tackle with a lot. And I know that you've had your own personal experiences with depression and anxiety. Would you like to tell us a little bit about that?
Yeah, so I think it's something that's kind of jumbled together a lot. Like, I have depression and anxiety, and it's not really separate. But I think for me, there were two quite separate experiences. So with kind of experiencing and battling anxiety, that kind of came from a lot younger. So I was probably like year 8, year 9. we'd moved a lot and like things were just changing a lot. You start becoming more aware of yourself at school, and you're like, oh, I don't like my friends when we move school. And it's like, you're not moving school, you don't like your friends. You become more aware of how you look and how you dress and all of that kind of stuff. So you just become super conscious about everything. And then when a lot of things are left unchecked, you just become so overconscious that you become anxious about everything, almost to the point where it paralyzes you just functioning. But it was quite easy for me to dismiss that as you're just like a stress head, whatever, go away. And then in terms of battling depression, I think that was there for a lot longer before I kind of started dealing with it properly at uni. But that was just, again, I kind of put that as, oh, I'm over emotional, I just like to cry. So like, it's nothing serious, just people are just going to react to you as over emotional and you just keep it moving.
So you said that, you know, people tend to lump things like depression and anxiety together. What would you say that depression looks like? Like, what did that feel like for you? How did you feel when you were going through it?
I think for me, depression felt like a very strange balance of being unbelievably sad but also feeling completely nothing at the same time. So I guess that's why in that season you just feel constantly teary, because if somebody says, oh, what's wrong? Well, nothing's really wrong, and I can see and feel like I'm about to cry, but I can't really explain to you why I feel like that. And then when you do have a bad day where you might just be able to cry and it's like, okay, I'm going to wake up and be fine, you know that, well, you believe that you're going to wake up and you're not. So it's like a cycle of, I feel so sad, I don't really feel anything, but I do feel sad. But if somebody asks me, I can't even articulate it.
So then, obviously that's a really hard thing to go through. And a lot of the time the word gets bandied around a lot, and it's like, is it depression, is it sadness? How did you know that it was depression, and what was it that helped you to overcome it?
I think once it starts impacting your life and you can't just, it's when you have a good day and something's still fundamentally wrong. Because it's like, I'll go to New Day and I've had the most amazing week, but on the like day 4 I've had a good day, but you still feel this really numb sadness inside of you. And it's like, I can't function like this. And school was still fine, so I was like, my life's not falling apart, so I guess nothing's wrong. But when it started impacting the way I did my friendships and my relationships and all that kind of stuff, I was like, okay, there must be something deeper here, because I'm now reacting to things in a way that doesn't really even make sense to me anymore. I'm reacting out of emotions that I can't even begin to articulate.
Okay, that's great. Like, I think it's nice to hear like what that really looks like, because I think before I spoke to you, I'd never really spoken deeply to someone that was struggling with depression. So what would you say was the point which you overcame? What was your breakthrough moment?
I think, I don't know if there was like a moment, but I think once I decided that this is something that I didn't want to have defining me, and things like Courage Conference, and like really pouring into God and being practical with, okay, I'm going to pray about it every morning, but then once I get off my knees, what am I going to do? I'm going to go serve, I'm going to go talk to my friends who can support me and advise me and just say nice things and positive things that are biblical. And over time, eventually, you essentially grow out of it. For me, it wasn't like I woke up one day and I was fine. And there were some like slipbacks and stuff, but I think just that determination and perseverance, yeah, I think that was it really.
I really thank God that, you know, you've overcome it and it's not what defines you anymore. So I'm so happy. And it's so easy to think that, like, you know, when you hear statistics and it's like, oh, you know, 1 in 3 people will face depression, and sometimes you can decide, do you know what, yeah, I'm the other ones that aren't going to face it. But then when it happens to you, you're just, it can really take you aback. It happens with illness, it happens in all like situations in life. And Tracy, I know that for you, you've experienced something in your life where you probably didn't think it was going to happen to you, and it was something quite traumatic at quite a young age. Would you like to share that with us?
Yeah, so when I was 4 going on to 5, my dad had a stroke. At the same time, my mum was due to give birth to my younger brother. And so when it happened, it was kind of like, I just don't know what's going on. I got sent to my neighbours and then got called the next day saying, oh, your mum's given birth. And my dad was in the same hospital as well, so I went to the hospital and it's like, yay, I have a new brother. But at the same time, I've gone to see my dad and it's like, I don't know if he can speak to me, he's just staring at me, I don't know if he remembers me, if he can recognise me. And then from there, it's kind of just been like, okay, now I kind of had to step up. So when my mum came back from the hospital, so it was just me, my mum and my brother, and I knew that I kind of had to grow up a bit. So there was one point where my mum needed to rush out just to like get new nappies, and there was like 1 nappy left. she taught me how to do it, and she was like, okay, I'm going to come back in 5 minutes, just be here with you and your brother. And since then, I've kind of just been mum number 2. And after, so going, let's say, to like 10 now, things were okay, but I knew it was kind of like, oh, my dad's not the same, so like my parents, the whole parent thing for me, I'm not like a normal child, because I had to kind of grow up. And then at 10, it's like my parents started arguing and fighting, and to see that as a child, it's like, I just don't understand. I just want to be a normal kid, I want to have normal parents. And then me being me, I want to interject and be like, no, it's calm, and then like I'll cry. And because I had my younger brother, people were like, oh no, don't cry, don't show emotion, because then like, if my brother sees me cry, he'll cry. He doesn't even know what the reason is, he'll just cry. So, yeah, and since then, it's kind of installed in me that I shouldn't show anything, I shouldn't cry. And over time, I just became angry, because it was like, I'm angry about the situation, I'm angry that my parents are fighting, I'm angry at my dad, because he was like, it was stress for my mum, and then I was trying to like, take some of the stress away. So for you, going to uni now, that's when it's like I'm away from home and I'm finding myself, and then just surrounding myself with Christians. And it was, I realized I knew I had to like let out this anger, because there was one time I was at uni, and so my dad's health is like getting worse. I was with my friends, we were having a good time, and I got a call from my mum. She's like, your dad's in hospital. And I went back to my friends, they asked, oh, are you okay? And I was like, yeah, it's fine, everything's fine, because I'm used to like keeping things in and not showing anything. The next day I went to the hospital. The doctors were like, if he doesn't change his ways, like with his health, he could die. And they were given advice about, things to change. And to me, I just heard, your dad's dying. So like, I was just crying. But my younger brother was there, so he was about, I was 18, 19 at the time, so he was, how old is he, 14? And the youngest one was about 5. And then I kind of had to go out, because I didn't want to install that fear, like, oh my gosh, their dad's about to die. I didn't want that. So not only am I angry for the situation, I'm angry at my parents fighting, I'm angry at my dad causing stress for my mum. I'm angry that why is he about, like, why is this health issue happening? So I just kind of kept it all in, and yeah, I realized how angry I was by the ways I would react to things. So I knew that, okay, I needed to change, because it was actually affecting me to the point where like I just didn't want to get up. If you asked me how I was saying I was tired, and last year was the year where I was like, okay, I've had enough, like I'm tired, I can't do this anymore. From 4 to like 22, 21, I don't want to do this anymore, because it's like weighing heavy on my heart. But when you're young, you don't really, it wasn't there until like I realized, okay, I'm trying to like self-evaluate, and I realized, okay, it's time to change.
That's a lot. That's a lot that you went through. So what was the moment that like you overcame? What was your breakthrough moment?
It was at church. There was a preach on strongholds, and you know when there's like something for you, and then your heart's kind of like, it's basically telling you this is you. And there was like many calls to the front, and like my heart would be tugging at me like, Tracy, go, and I'd be like, Holy Spirit, chill, like I'm not. I don't want to go, because that means I'm going to cry, and then I'm going to show everything. And it happened, there was quite a few calls, and I just didn't go. I knew I was supposed to go, I just didn't. And then there was one Sunday, I came into church, and my chest, it felt I couldn't breathe. Like, after church, I ended up calling A&E, because I was like, I don't know what's going on. And they were saying that, oh, you might have to come in, because it looks, you could have a cardiac arrest. And I'm thinking, no, I was only 21 to have a cardiac arrest. And then luckily Auntie Kemi actually came out, and she was like, what's going on? She prayed for me, and she's a nurse, so she was like, you're fine, something to do with your muscles, and there's nothing going on, you're not going to die. And then from then on, I knew that because I was holding things in, it actually affected me physically. So the next Sunday there was actually a call, and the Holy Spirit was like, go, just go.
So you obeyed, right?
Yeah. I went and I just broke down and cried, and it wasn't like, okay, I've cried now, let me stop. It just wouldn't stop, and I was like, okay, I need to just let it all out and just cry. And after that, I just felt like a weight actually lifted from my chest. And then
Thank God.
afterwards, God was like, okay, you're not done. Now you have to tell 3 people. I'm like, I just cried. I don't want to tell 3 people. And I knew the 3 people I was meant to tell. So the first time, I was like, oh, okay, how are they going to see me? How are they going to judge my family? How are they just going to judge me? Told my friend, she just listened and just prayed with me. And then the second friend, it was during Kingdom Culture, and funnily enough, we were talking about vulnerability, opened up and cried again, which I didn't want to, but he listened. And then the third one, it was like, okay, this one's hard because she's my longest friend. I've known her for a long time, and I haven't told her, so I was like, okay, would she hate me for not saying anything? And so we went in her car, and then I just opened up and I was like, okay, this is what's going on. And she actually just listened, and she said she'd pray for me. And then for me, I realized, Tracy, this is the step that you needed to do to be free and to continue to be free. Because it's been so long, it's not just going to go away. But the fact that you took that step to be free, you're going to continue to be free.
Amen. Thank you so much, Tracy, for sharing that story, because I spoke to you before, and Tracy was the most nervous of anybody here.
Yes.
And I think her biggest thing was just, please don't cry, please don't cry, please don't cry. But I'm so, so happy. I'm so grateful to all of you guys. And we've run out of time, and I'm sure that we could sit here for ages with women. But I just have, I want to talk to Tracy quickly. Some of you won't know, most of you won't know, but Tracy has recently graduated. Woo! Yeah? Oh, look at her, she looks absolutely wonderful.
Wow.
And I just want to say, Tracy, that I'm so, so proud of you, because the story that you shared, the things that you've been through, you got through it. And if you know Tracy, I didn't know half of these things were happening in her life. She's the smiliest person you will ever see, the happiest person you will ever see. She serves all the time. She'll be on the welcome team smiling, happy, not realizing what it is that she's going through. So I really thank God for you. And I just got a gift that I want to give to you, just to say, well done for making it through.
Wow.
There you go.
Thank you.
Thank you guys so much.
Thank you.